Hi guys, Ian here, and this is the ROSESELSA Distant Mountain version 2, and it is retailing for just $65 US, which includes the dongle, and it's retailing in ROSESELSA's website itself. So if you are interested to find out more, do check out the unaffiliated link down in the description below. So I've been using this for 2 weeks now, and I have listened to jazz, rock, pop, electronic, and I pair it with my phone, my desktop, my laptop, my dongles, and my DAPs. And I'm here to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions about this ROSESELSA Distant Mountain version 2. Alright, so let's first begin with the accessories, and this is the retail box. Very generous retail box. There's a lot of stuff inside the retail box, and you can find the user guide or user manual, which has the specifications inside. So I'm just going to read that out to you. Sensitivity is 115. The driver is a dynamic driver. The impedance is 32 ohms. Frequency range is 20 to 20,000 hertz. Connector type is MMCX, and the cable length is 120 cm, which is 1.2 meters. Okay, now inside the box you find a plethora of stuff. I don't know what this is, but it's a postcard. You can send it to your friend, recommend to your friend about ROSESELSA with this beautiful girl on the face of this postcard, and you can send it to them and recommend ROSESELSA to them, and you get a bunch of souvenirs. Alright, so you get this 10th anniversary souvenir. This is I don't think it's gold, but it is pretty hefty. So it's a block of metal, right, and is CNC cut, so you can gift this to someone or hang it along your bag. And this is a pin, a collar pin, whereby you can pin it to anywhere you want. You can pin it to your bag, to your collar, or anything. And of course you get this standee, right, of this anime girl, and just slot it in, and then it'll stand up on your desk, and you can admire her every day when you are listening to the Distant Mountain. And of course you get the Distant Mountain itself. Now if you select the option with the dongle, you'll get this RZ200M dongle, and this dongle will enable you to connect to any device that has got USB-C from the headphone itself. So you can listen to your music without any headphone jack if you don't have any on your device. Okay, and then you get extra donut pads, right? So with this donut pads, it changes the sound a little bit, which I have already mentioned in my original video of this ROSESELSA Distant Mountain. So if you haven't watched that video, I suggest to maybe click somewhere above here so you can take a look at that video. And the cable itself. So this cable is different from the original. The original is a fabric cable. This time around it's a flat type silicone cable, and the connection is an MMCX. Alright, the cable is alright, is manageable, is light, and minimalistic, I would say. And now for the headband and the headphone itself. Headband is made of metal, is made of this lambskin kind of there's no difference from the original. Let me just bring the original out and just show you the difference. In terms of physical difference, nothing much. In fact, they're very similar, quite identical. It's just that, you know, there is a 10th anniversary printing on the Distant Mountain 2. Okay, and the other side, yeah, maybe this part here is a little bit different, but other than that, it's exactly the same. In terms of physical outlook, it's just that the cable is different. On the original one is a fabric cable, and the cable on the new Distant Mountain is a silicone cable. Alright, so let's talk about the design and build quality of this. Is actually pretty nice. It's the same as the original. The headband is very nice. It's stainless steel, okay, with lambskin, as I mentioned, or fox lambskin, and the ear cups are metal and mesh, which I need to remove this foam pad, but yeah, I'm not going to remove it. It's got this retro style with the gloss finish and the metal grills and whatnot. The material feels very premium for just 60 bucks. And it slides up and down. Okay, this part here slides up and down for sizing. It doesn't swivel, as I mentioned in my original video. And overall, I would say the build quality for this, it's solid. It's the only trade-off is that there's no articulation. The clamping force is again still a little bit tight. There's no change to it. Yeah, overall, I would say the build quality on this is fantastic. So now let's talk about the fit and comfort for this. For my head, which is roughly about medium size, the headphones, the clamping force, it was a little bit still tight for my head. The headband pad is soft, and then the structure distributes the weight quite well. But during long listening sessions, I began to feel the fatigue around the lower part of my ear, whereby the earphones contact to my ear and to my head. Right, so this non-swiveling part here also adds on to that fatigue and that pressure. And you know, in terms of sound, there is, because it doesn't articulate, so there's a little bit of noise leak. And I can't really get a perfect seal, even though these are on-ear headphones. So in summary, I would say in terms of fit and comfort, they are acceptable except for the shortcomings of the clamping force, and overall, yeah, I would say it's pretty okay. Alright, so let's get into sound. First, let's talk about the tone and timbre. It's warmish, alright? It's got a mid-bass emphasis and somewhat of quite forward mids, I would say. And the treble is a bit tempered, okay? The overall feel is engaging rather than strictly neutral. Overall, vocals and instruments have a bit of body. The bass has some presence. The treble is pretty controlled and is not aggressively sharp. So in my listening with jazz and blues, I enjoyed the naturalness of the vocals. With rock and electronic bass drive gave me that enjoyment, though it's not really an immersive sub-bass slam. The timbre is slightly colored. And it can be a good thing depending on your taste of music. Now, as for technical performance, the soundstage is respectable. It's not really an a very open type of soundstage. It's pretty decent in terms of the width, not very vast, three-dimensional space kind of soundstage. The depth is pretty modest. Imaging in terms of left to right positioning and basic instrument placement is competent, but not exceptional. And I would say it's wider than expected for an on-ear, but it lacks that airiness, open back feel compared to those open back headphones. Now, as for the imaging and sound separation, I found that instruments separate quite well. It's quite usable for casual listening. In simpler tracks, you can pick out layers and micro details. In more compact tracks like orchestral tracks or heavy rock mixes, the layering becomes a little bit less defined as compared to higher end gear. As for detail retrieval and resolution, the Distant Mountain 2 has more details than you might expect. At this price point, it's only 60 bucks. Micro details like subtle background vocals or ambient sounds were audible. However, it lacks the ultimate snap and the clarity and the air and the ultra fine resolution of other premium models. So I would say the treble roll-off and the limited refinement in the upper register limits the detail retrieval and the overall resolution. So for an entry-level music lover, the performance of this headphone is more than adequate, but for more serious reference work, you might notice the limitations. Alright, so now let's talk about the sound signature, and first let's talk about the sub bass. Now, the Distant Mountain 2 offers two decent sub bass extensions for its class. You hear the rumble and presence below 50 Hz when the track includes it, though the visceral impact, which is the deep rumble, is limited by the on-ear seal and design. So this is good for an on-ear, but it's not earth-shaking. So you're not getting a seal because it's on the ear, it's not over the ear. So you get more sub-bass presence if the headphone is over the ear. Now this is alright. I would say some listeners, they don't really go for that earth-shaking rumble. Some just like the mid-bass. Now, talking about mid-bass, this is where the headphone is the strongest. The mid-bass has that punch, the body, drums, bass, guitars, rhythm sections have that weight there. The note weight is great. The tuning gives an engaging oomph rather than a lean technical bass. So in terms of mid-bass, this is the strongest. As for the mid-range, it's forward enough, all right, to give the vocals presence, especially for male vocals. However, there's a slight dip or recess in the lower mid-range compared to the bass bump or mid-bass bump. So on tracks with strong mid-bass, you may notice a slight push of the vocals to maintain clarity. Now, there is a slight peak in the upper mid-range, roughly about 2.5 kHz, I would say, that maybe is a bit shouty to female vocals or guitars, but it's just a very small notice which I found on this headphone. It's not exactly 2.5 kHz, it's roughly there. Now, in terms of the pinna gain, being on ear, all right, with driver close to your ears, there is a pinna gain effect. So because the drivers are so close to your ears and because it covers over your ear, I observe a very mild presence boost in the upper mids and the lower treble region, which adds intimacy to the vocals and guitars. Now, this gives the impression of an forward vocal and instruments. So I would say it's still a bit recessed in terms of the mid-range, but because the pinna gain is quite intense, it gives that forwardness. Now, in terms of the treble is extended but rolls off gently in the brilliance region. It doesn't sparkle as much as the high-end open backs, and it's not a fault per se, but it's got a bit of listening fatigue. But is lower than expected and compared to those open backs. But you won't get that ultra airy top end kind of treble compared to premium models. The 2.5 kHz peak, which I mentioned earlier, can make certain tracks sound slightly aggressive in the upper mid-range. Alright, so let's conclude. After 2 weeks of using this, I can safely say that this ROSESELSA Distant Mountain 2 is recommendable as one of the better value on-ear wired headphones. Alright, it's better value. It's less than $100. I mean, 60 bucks only. The design and build quality is a punch above the price point. The sound wise, they are engaging, it's fun, it's a little bit warm, with good mid bass and a lively mid range. But I must be frank here, they are not perfect. Alright, the lack of ear cup articulation here, the strong clamp, the modest isolation as well because it's on ear, and that slightly odd peak in the upper mids means they are not really suitable for everyone, especially for those who require long listening sessions or perfect comfort fit or ultra refined treble or a full head isolation. It's a great looker, got strong, great value, it's fun sounding, but I would say for those who care about ultra refinement or long listening session, you might want to note the trade-offs clearly. So I would recommend this to those casual users and with a budget in mind, and obviously don't really mind about the refinement of the sound. It's a bit warm, it's fun, and yeah, those who cares about those kind of traits, I would say this is gonna be a good recommendations from me. Alright, so that's my overall thoughts and opinions about this Distant Mountain 2. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. My name is Ian. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.